में कि एसीटी इलेक्शन जोरदार तरीके से कैंपेनिंग चल रही है इस समय और कहा जा रहा है कि करीब 70% लोग बिफोर द इलेक्शन डे दे थिंक वोट दे देते हैं लेकिन अभी भी समय है 19 अक्टूबर तक को जो है इलेक्शन होगा और 19 अक्टूबर को रिजल्ट आएगा और जैसा कि हम अपने कार्यक्रम में जो हमारे इंडियन ओरिजिन के कैंडिडेट्स हैं उनके साथ आपका परिचय कराते रहे हैं और आज हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं फैमिली फर्स्ट के कैंडिडेट सुनील बेबी जी जो जिनेंडेरा से यहाँ पर इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट कर रहे हैं सुनील जी जो है फैमिली फर्स्ट से हैं तो आइए सुनील जी से बात करते हैं सुनील जी नमस्कार आपका इसका हमारे कार्यक्रम में स्वागत है
Namaskar to the listeners, to Radio Manpasand, and thank you for inviting me.
You are welcome.
Yeah.
सबसे पहले आप अपने बारे में बताइए सुनील बेबी जी अपनी बैकग्राउंड दीजिए
Yes, sure. I started, I was born in Bangalore, the south of India, and I actually migrated to the United Arab Emirates in my early 20s, and I actually work in consulting and training. I've been around 20 years in the Middle East, so in Dubai. I've been in Dubai. I'm a Dubai, 20 years of my life in Dubai, and then when my kids were growing up, we were thinking of coming over to Australia. And in 2014, in December, I arrived in Australia. I came to Canberra. It was state nominations, permanent residence. So we came here. And we were thinking we'll just stay here for a couple of years and go to Sydney. But we liked it so much here in Canberra. So, it was very easy to live as well with kids and all growing, raising kids here was easier compared to Sydney. So we did a good decision of staying here.
Canberra is the best kept secret in Australia.
Yes,
keep it as a secret.
So, in the Middle East, my last role was I was the director for a U.S. business school called 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗔𝗖𝗧 International. I was the director for corporate relations and for Middle East and Asia. So my role was, I was working with the Clinton Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship. We have, it's a $1 million prize given to business schools competing for ideas in social entrepreneurship. So I was, so the finals is in New York every year. So we used to coordinate that as a part of social entrepreneurship. So I have also done projects in New Zealand for investment. I've met Sir John Key as well. So we have done investments because my former boss was also from New Zealand. So we did investment projects into real estate and construction and various things for New Zealand government. So that was a little bit of exposure towards investments into a new country. So we managed to get around 100 million in the first 2 years. So that was something very good project that we did in New Zealand.
तो कैनबरा में कहाँ काम कर रहे हैं?
So I work in a not-for-profit charity. It's a college called Unity College Australia. We are a CRICOS college. We run leadership management, courses in community services. So what we do is we train students to become carers for different organizations all across Baptist Care, Salvation Army, all around all the major care companies. We offer the diploma and now the advanced diploma in community care. So that is the social thing that we help students. We train them to do community work. And so that's one part. Then we also offer commercial cookery, which is another program where we have a food pantry at the St. Paul's Jindera. We were supporting the food pantry, and now we are with the Youth with a Mission, which is in Watson. So that also is like a volunteering kind of thing where we support volunteers. We offer the training for the cookery and they cook for the volunteers. So something like that, the social projects,
तो आपकी जो है अच्छी खासी प्रोफेशनल बैकग्राउंड रही है आपने पॉलिटिक्स क्यों चूज करी फिर अभी
So I was never interested in politics. Like, it's not like a cliche which everybody will say that. But, I was not at all thinking. But one of the things that concerned me was the laws that has been passed in ACT, especially towards families. Because we have generations that are thinking, and I was talking to many families, they're worried about the current laws that are anti-family. So it concerned me, especially when the assisted dying and things towards some of the policies like euthanasia, that really, bothered me, saying that we need to make a stance. And we talk to a lot of ethnic communities here. They want their, like grandparents, they want their children to, have the same family values as they grow, and also the social experiments that are happening. That is concerning in the society, where we're leading. We are economically, we were doing very well, but at the time socially we are declining as a society. So that concerned me. So I said we have to be a voice so that's why my party's policies definitely resonate with those ideas. So that's why I thought maybe we should take a stance. We never even thought we would have enough of members when we started, because Family First is a 20-year-old party. We had 3 senators, for Senator Fielding, Senator Bob Day, and we had Senator Lucia. So we had 3 senators so far, 2017 the last senator. It's a 20-year-old party, but it has been resurgent now recently. Last 2.5 years we have Lyle, who's Shelton, who's the head of the party. So we have got 60 candidates now in Queensland. So we're building our party profile for the next elections coming federal. And we have Elizabeth Kickard who has joined us, which is a big bonus for us because it raises the profile of our party. And we might be, getting a couple of seats in this election. We are quite confident.
आपका कॉन्फिडेंस वैसे एडमायरेबल है, लेकिन अक्सर ये कहा जाता है कि एसीटी जो है प्रोग्रेसिव इलेक्टोरेट है, तो जो आपने जिस तरह की पॉलिसी की बात करी वो कहाँ तक सक्सेसफुल हो सकती हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया एसीटी में?
See, it happened in New Zealand also. We had the Jacinda Ardern government, and then it was, if you see the last, they had the 6 Maori, MPs. So that was a change to the right towards a conservative society. So societies keep making shifts in different intervals. So I feel there will be a shift. Already there's an anti-incumbency with the government, which will play a big role. People are not having a proper option. The 2 parties are not giving the right solutions. Neither of them they're able to meet what the voters want. So they're looking for another solution. So that right now the independents have come out. The people want to experiment, because a progressive society will always experiment with things. So I believe that they will start experimenting with candidates that are very strong, can raise the investment profile for Canberra, who can reduce the unnecessary wastage and expenditure that is happening here. With so many projects have gone for waste. So I think this society being progressive is also good, because they will look at they will not stick to one ideology. They will change, like how they've changed before. They'll say, okay, let us try this. If this is not working, let us try. So I think there's a lot of conservative people that want to keep their generations with the same beliefs that they have to continue. So there could be a swing in this, I feel.
तो थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लोर करते हैं फिर आपके जो है आइडियोलॉजीज जो हैं फैमिली फर्स्ट की.
करेक्ट.
थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन कीजिए किस तरह की क्या स्टैंड्स हैं आपके डिफरेंट एरियाज में.
Okay, so the 4 big topics are family, faith, life and freedom. So the 4 big things that we look at that's again, I'll repeat: family, faith, freedom and life. So families, we would like nuclear families. We would like to incentivize monogamous heterosexual marriages. We would incentivize the tax system to attract married couples and to have children, and remove the couple penalty, which discriminates financially against families where one parent works in the home caring for children. So there's some kind of a discrimination in terms of the tax as well. So, and also we would, so that is a promotion of the family values. See, being an Indian, it is very easy because we are all family-oriented people, right? Asians are generally family-oriented. But when you come to Australia, the culture is a bit different. It has its plus and minuses. People leave at 16, and now they are, because of the cost of living, many people are coming back to their houses. We thought, God makes some things like that. They didn't want to live with their parents, but the cost of living is biting so much that they're coming back and staying back with their parents for at least a couple of years. I know some Australian mothers telling, okay, I will let my child to stay for 2 years till he gets settled again. So, nature brings these things back. I feel that so like families, when if you look at society, if there is stable parents, they will have relatively lesser. I'm not telling there's a guarantee, but relatively, in a relative way, we feel that the society will be more stable. There's a large cases of mental health and depression and ADHD and all kinds of dyslexic. We have never seen in our country so much when we see in Australia. It's a huge mental health challenges. Of late, it has come to the light. It is we're having a huge mental health issues here.
जो मेंटल हेल्थ के इश्यूज जस्ट वांट टू एक्सप्लोर आपने कहा कि हमारे कंट्रीज में या हमारे कल्चर्स में नहीं होते थे लेकिन हमेशा दबाए जाते थे लेकिन अब हम ओपनली डिस्कस करते हैं तो उसमें क्या समस्या है
no it is good. I know that it was suppressed before, but the kind of volume of mental health that you have here, it is developed now as a program. Mental health has been developed. It's very superior advanced way of developing programs towards things. They've understood that there is something like that and they've taken actions toward that. But I'm just saying for stability, things like towards health and things like conditioning is important in the homes. It's important to have stable homes. It is a core thing and it is scientifically proven. When you have stable homes and you have some kind of a belief and faith and things like that, depending on whatever faith you have, they're going to encounter lesser problems than what they would have done without having it. I'm not saying that it's a guarantee, but you could have lesser problems when you have, stable parents and having a faith and having some beliefs, some morals. See, earlier it used to be a theonomous culture where there used to be one God and everybody submit to it. Today it is a heteronomous culture where there is a small portions which decides the larger things, and also people are going into autonomous, which is self and law. So you make your own law. So self-law. So you decide what is the moral standard in society, which is very dangerous if you don't have any kind of a backing on that. So ये तो confusion हो रहा है within society.
अच्छा तो अभी जो इतने वर्षों से प्रोग्रेस हुई है डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स में आप जो हैं कह रहे हैं कि एक तरह से रोल बैक किया जाए या बैलेंस किया जाए क्या है
बैलेंस तो होना चाहिए तो कंप्लीट तो रोल बैक नहीं हो सकते बिकॉज इट बिकम्स वेरी वी डोंट टेक एक्सट्रीम सिचुएशंस टू वी हैव टू बी बैलेंस सो इफ यू आर गोइंग फार लेफ्ट ऑन आइडियोलॉजी दे शुड बी अ टीम दैट शुड ब्रिंग यू बैक टू द सेंटर तो बैलेंस तो डेफिनेटली होना चाहिए तो that's what we are trying to bring, some kind of balance. See, if you don't have any proper opposition towards this and everybody is doing this, then it's unfair as well. You need to have a balance. You need to have some voice on the other side as well. I'm not telling to go extreme towards that. That is not the right thing to do it.
तो ये जैसे अभी आपने voluntary assisted dying की बात करी.
Correct.
तो ये जो है सारे स्टेट्स में और अब एसीटी में भी आ गया है लेजिस्लेशन तो एक तरह की डिमांड थी इसकी आप कह रहे हैं कि ये ठीक नहीं है
see, one of the things about it can be misused. For instance, if there's a will that is involved with parents who are on the thing, it can be manipulated. Also, they're trying to bring euthanasia into mental health to the youth. So that becomes very dangerous when you open up a policy like that for euthanasia, and now you're trying to extend it towards the youth as well, where there's a mental health thing. Then they can, recently in Switzerland, about there was like a Tesla kind of thing where people could press a button and you could die. So these are things that we find it very, where you are proactively assisting people to die, it's not good for society. I feel that it can be also abused, like especially for elder parents, if the children can use this as a way to get rid of the parents for the will. So we are opening up a Pandora box, which I feel we should be careful about.
अच्छा अभी एक थोड़ा सा ब्रेक लेते हैं फिर और आपकी पॉलिसीज के बारे में बातचीत करते हैं मैं किशोर कुमार का आने वाला पल जाने वाला है और फिर बातचीत जारी रखते हैं सुनील जी की सुनील बेबी जी के साथ जो फैमिली फर्स्ट के कैंडिडेट हैं जिनेंडेरा से और आपने वॉलंटरी असिस्टेड डेथ की बात करी, दूसरी पॉलिसीज के बारे में?
The next one which we have is against late term abortions. We have an issue with that. Recently we have found that they're allowing the late term abortions to happen even after the child is born. They're allowing it to die. It's happened.
ये कहाँ हुआ?
Yeah, it has happened in Victoria. It was a Senate inquiry about this. So basically
लीगल था वो?
Yeah, exactly. Allowing it basically after being born, letting it to die. So something like that is something we find it's very painful, and it is the person involved was also interviewed in the Senate. I can send you some details around that. So we are against those things. We believe that there are
abortion पे रहे तो
abortion,
आप लेट टर्म अबॉर्शन के खिलाफ हैं कि अबॉर्शन टोटली बैन, या किस तरह से?
So see, abortion का जो policy है, we look at it like the baby that is conceived has a life. It is a spirit. It has a life. So it is saying that when you're ending a life, we believe that we have no authority to take a life when a life is created. So we are against abortion. Definitely, it is a thing. But one of the things is, one of the counterpoints is, what about if it's a rape and an incest that has happened and the child is born? So those are that we are a compassionate party as well. We understand those. Those are some things, but those are not the majority of how these abortions are. Those are a minority in it.
और जहाँ जो मदर की उसकी हालत, खुद की हेल्थ इंडेंजर्ड हो, उसके बारे में आपका क्या ख्याल है?
So I said we use compassion as a middle ground. So every case should be examined in a compassion. So we can't give a blanket thing that it have to this, because also we have to look like in a progressive way. So you can't make a blanket thing, say no abortion, because there are situations like rape and for instance incest, and even if there are some medical things like that. So there's a compassion that has to be used on those grounds. So it has to be progressive discourse. So it can't be like, again, this policy cannot be, you say, completely no abortion, but it has to be again done in a very gradual manner. So with these kind of clauses and conditions as well. So there should be a way, but then people are not even interested in that. They are not voting for us because we are supporting abortion. So that is something we believe as a principle in our faith, that taking a life of somebody. So just imagine if our parents would have thought about us to do it like that, we wouldn't have been here.
So, lekin, what about women's right?
Yeah, so one of the things is, again, like I said, what is the society deciding the moral compass on? Is they deciding on themselves to be the moral decider over somebody else's life? So that's what I was trying to tell you. The society has gone into the culture of autonomous, where there is auto is self and law is nomos. So it's the self person is making the law. So that is where the problem is coming. So there should be a kind of the moral compass needs to be based on some kind of like a faith or some kind of evidence for them to believe that they can take a life of somebody. Yeah. So this is a complicated thing. This is why the society is struggling. You have three different types of beliefs. One is, if you are believing that you are able to do anything because you can decide, and not based on any compass, which is there, then where is the compass? So we're missing a compass.
कंपास की बात तो ठीक है, लेकिन साथ ही साथ ये भी है कि कोई भी मदर वॉलंटरी अबॉर्शन नहीं करना चाहती, ओनली एक्सेप्शनल सर्कमस्टेंसेस में बात हो रही है ये. तो फिर उसमें क्या, अगर if a woman decide to have an abortion for whatever reason, और उसमें भी again जैसे आपने voluntary assisted death की भी बात करी, उसमें काफी safeguards हैं. Not everyone can go and say, well, I want to die and give it to me.
Yeah, they have to.
Same thing with this also. So there are safeguards around these things. So why do we want to say, okay, well, this is against nature or whatever is that?
See, what happens is, when you open up something which is like, this is a new thing that has opened up, right? Then if you allow that, what happens is, you get more access to open it into other territories. So you are then not only doing one thing, you are getting into the youth, you're getting into things. So which the society, there needs to be a moral compass around that. So that's what I believe. So when you open something up, you're also allowing other things to come, and you say this is okay. Then you go into the next the category of youth. So this is not, so that's why I say who's deciding the moral compass? It's coming to that. But if you want to decide that the society is becoming like that I will decide the laws and I will not decide any moral thing based on it. So then it becomes very, chaotic.
तो जब ये लॉज बनते हैं जैसे हम लोग डेमोक्रेटिक सोसाइटी में रहते हैं काफी डिबेट होती है लॉज पास होते हैं मेजॉरिटी चाहिए होती है एंड चाहे असेंबली हो चाहे पार्लियामेंट हो दे रिफ्लेक्ट द पॉपुलर पब्लिक ओपिनियन तो उसमें क्या गलत बात है अगर इस तरह के लॉज पास होते हैं चाहे वॉलंटरी असिस्टेड डेथ के या फिर जो है अबॉर्शन के
so the thing is like I said it's democracy. You have two different opinions. So one opinion is like the popular opinion that we should go for all this. But there should also be a voice that says we should be allowed to just extend a voice. Whether we are correct or not, that is somebody else to decide.
Open to the debate,
but but all I'm saying is we definitely have a point towards this. We are definitely not trying to, having, proactively, having abortion as a thing. We believe that it's not a natural thing. To do that, to take somebody's life, we don't have authority. Somebody else have given that authority. So if we are taking the authority as we are doing the law, there is a consequences also we pay for that. That's what I believe. The karma.
सही बात है. आगे और बताइए और
Okay, the next thing what we are I talked about is economic freedom. It's every party talking about cost of living, but we have come out with something very different. So we looked at the numbers. So we said we won't go for the big trams, especially the one to Warden. That is in the business case. We're not doing that. So business case doesn't, even they know the feasibility report has said that this is not feasible. There's no business case in doing it. And there is like another 4 billion. I just calculated the current debt is 12.7 billion. That is coming to, with 450,000 households, coming to $27,000 each family owes the government, which they will take it out, which is currently, and then they're looking at the 4 billion, which will go for the next, the extension of the tram. So we said, these things are not required right now. Just go for the bus services, try to make it more effective. The routes are a bit long. I think they have to make it more, that's what I heard from the feedback. There are the routes of these buses, when you talk to the drivers, they are very longly and they're not properly designed, the routing. So that can be efficient, the routing, plus have more frequency of buses. So which you can spend money on that rather than spending billions on these things, And the stadiums also, the current stadium is pretty good, and they can be probably some enhancements can be done. We don't need to go for more billions on that. So put this money back in the pocket. I'm an Indian, so I know. I said, पैसा कैसे बचाया जाए ना, वही तो देखना पड़ेगा कि घर की जो खर्चे जो है तो बहुत expensive हो रहे हैं अभी. So every housewife is thinking like, even if there's a vehicle, there's something happened, like you can't even you don't have that extra money to do that repair and things like. These are basic problems that human beings are having. So if they don't want the trams, they don't want the stadium, they're saying who will fix our problems, generally, our expenses. The inflation's gone so high, food costs have gone out so high, electricity has jumped, rates have jumped. So we said we had a slogan. Our campaign is 50% of rates across 4 years, which means we'll not cut the services. We're giving 50% of the current rates, but gradually across the 4 years, we will cut it to 50% of our current rates. Rates जो है, वो 50% हम across the 4 years, not just straight away. Like, we can't afford it. No. But we will not we'll put the money which was supposed to go into the trams or into the stadiums back into the pockets of people. They have more money with paying lesser rates and get more investment into Canberra, get more development projects where foreign investors can come here And there's a fascinating place. Canberra is so beautiful. We can definitely, I saw New Zealand and I said, why can't we do that here? They have Auckland. You can go and see Auckland, how beautifully they've done it under John Keys. So I feel we can do the same here, and so reduce the big expenses. There's a lot of budget wastages as well. They've spent around 80 million on some HR software, and about that, right? So I'm not just trying to go after something, but I'm just saying that those are wastes. As an Indian, I don't like to waste.
नहीं, वो आपके ये valid points हैं कि जो है software upgrade जो हुआ था वो $75 million या 80 में हुआ जो भी हुआ फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट की बात सही है, लेकिन रेट्स के बारे में मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूंगा. आपने कहा कि आपका एम जो है 50% कट
to bring it down to 50.
लेकिन अगर हमें एसेंशियल सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करनी है यहाँ पर, अब ट्रैम की भी अगर आप कहते हैं कि रोकेंगे, तो उसकी अल्टरनेटिव पॉलिसीज क्या, यहाँ पर हम कैनबरा ब्यूटीफुल इसलिए कि यहाँ पर सर्विसेज हैं.
करेक्ट.
अगर आप रेट्स कट कर रहे हैं तो सर्विसेज भी कट करनी पड़ेंगी.
So that is what everybody asks. So when we looked at the staggering figures, like if you're going to cut rates by 50%, it will cost you 49 million to 50 million, I think, per year. So per year for that's the kind of
is that only for $50 million
for per year. So it will go across 4 years, right? So that is what will be gradually doing it. So there is a way to do it. It is priority. Government can, like, if you prioritize your funding and try to put it back, see, you have to have that approach towards the individual households. What will benefit them? Rather than looking at the bigger things and trying to expand, we also have to look at right now, what is the common man suffering? What is his problem? How can you solve his problem? So you have to get investments in. There are two ways of doing it. One is you increase your investments and reduce your cost. So you got to do both. So which we will be doing. We have that background of bringing investments here. In fact, I met a lot of candidates who said that we brought a lot of investment companies here to Canberra and told the government, from India as well. They were not bothered they did a lot of seminars, but nothing happened. So see, this is what, if you go with that investment drive, we can bring in money. India is such a wealthy country. And this is nothing for them. What is 50 million for an Indian investor? It's not a big deal. We can bring those investors here. So that is what we need, that business drive and the direction to raise the economy up. So you have to reduce the cost and you also have to bring the investments both together, which we have done in other cities. So we can do it here. I feel that. Yes.
एक छोटा सा ब्रेक लेके फिर आपसे बातचीत करते हैं. बातचीत कर रहे हैं हम सुनील जी के साथ, जो फैमिली फर्स्ट के कैंडिडेट हैं एसीपी से, जेनेंडेरा से. आपने सुनील जी बात करी पॉलिसीज की, किस तरह से चीजें घटाएंगे, लेकिन किस तरह से आप सर्विसेज इंप्रूव करेंगे, किस तरह की आपके प्लान और एक्शन है.
So under the economic freedom for families, one is housing affordability. You see, the land releases are very slow and they're deliberately done in a way so that they get a very high premium. So the base entry for builders also, they find that when they buy a land at such a high price, $1,000 to $1,500, per square feet they're buying, and then they put their thing for the building costs going up, it becomes very difficult for a builder to operate. So many builders are going down, that it, so, looking at, so land releases need to be more frequent, and they also needs to be something like, I was looking at a concept of build to rent, which is also there, but I think out of at least 1 out of 3 buildings should be kept for people to buy it over. Renting is it's just a starting thing. You should not be renting always. Get them out of 10 and own it, and have a public developer. I feel that so that you have more control, because if you do build to rent, you need to have your own finance corporations, you need to have your own land which you control, and then you can have people buy it over a period of time with what people are trying in a different way. But every 1 in 3 buildings should be given that build to rent option in the future. So I think that will be sustainable and people will get into it. Public housing is also a big problem. Health services are very bad. We've been hearing things like elective surgeries taking so long, people waiting for. So I met a gentleman who said he wants to die because he's waiting for his knee surgery for so many months. He's so depressed. So he wants to give up his life. It's reached such a point. The medical services need a lot of attention. So we look at those things, and try to build up the services, attract more physicians to come into Canberra. I don't think there should be a reason why we can't get enough people here. The skilled, medical doctors to come here. We don't have enough specialists. That's what they say. We're not able to attract them. That was one of the Premier's points, which I don't believe. We will be able to attract doctors if you give them the right, remuneration and the facilities. We will be able to bring them here. So elective surgeries is the thing. As an old man, you would be suffering waiting for 14 months to get an eye operation or get for a knee replacement, things like that. They get so depressed. So health services need to be really focused. The big thing. We have actually pledged to the unpaid carers as well. So that's another category. There are 58,000 people. They're caring for their families, but they're not getting paid. They cannot work because if the child is disabled, there are different scenarios like that. So there's 58,000 of them all across Australia, unpaid carers. So we're looking at them as well. So we need to, cater to them. I mean, they have a pledge. There's a database that's a system that has to be worked out. First thing is enter them into a database. There is no database, how many unpaid carers and a logging systems into that. And it has to be, some big NDIS companies which are making big profits can also give a certain part of sponsorship into this, pledge into this so that the unpaid carers get some service. Because NDIS, it's a decent amount which they get. They can do some kind of social responsibility by pledging for the unpaid carers and paying them for some kind of, at least giving some services for those, they get like a retreat or something off. Because if you're taking care of your child and you've not been going out, you've not been able to go, you see, you're locked yourself with your child or, whatever you're doing. You don't have any place to go, you don't have a vacation, things like that. So you need to take care of people like that, the old people. And there's a huge mental health issue, which all other parties are doing. I'm not telling that we do. But unpaid carers is something, we've actually gone there, we've presented as well, that we will pledge to them.
So these all services, again, we come back to the financial management.
Yes.
They're costing money. आपने कहा health services
So,
के
correct.
करने की बात करी, आपने unpaid carriers को help करने की बात करी.
Yes, yeah.
कहाँ से आएगा ये सब funding?
Yes. So one of the things is distributing. If there's a budget, it is depending on how you focuses and what is your priority. So you take off the big things that, big ticket items, try to see what really the community can really be impacted. What are they impacted with? So we have to look at the practical. We want to do common sense stuff. We don't want to do the big stuff and, just for the splash. We want to make it economically viable. See, there are difficulties. It is not easy. Like you said, all these services are important. But we have to give priority and to see which are the big tickets that can be taken off and which can be done. So there has to be a lot of feasibility things done around that. But it should be common sense, I feel. A common sense approach towards practical issues, towards the common man. I believe that will help, the society.
तो चलिए ये फैमिली फर्स्ट इस समय जो है एसीटी के सारे इलेक्टोरेट्स में कैंडिडेट्स हैं
वी हैव
और मान लीजिए कि फैमिली फर्स्ट के कैंडिडेट्स एक माइनॉरिटी गवर्नमेंट की सिचुएशन आती है और फैमिली फर्स्ट के जो है मेंबर्स को डिसाइड करना है किसको सपोर्ट करना है वन ऑफ द मेजर पार्टीज तो आपका क्या स्टैंस है
So typically we're actually if you look at it, our policies are quite close to certain parties, like the Liberals in major areas, and also the Belko party. So we have a common ground with these parties. So we would probably go with them if they can form a government. We would be able to help them. So I think we are. Liberal party and the Belko party would be, and the DLP is also there, but it's between these. They have a common understanding. Policies are quite resemble to us.
समय करीब खत्म हो गया है तो बस लास्ट आप क्या मैसेज देना चाहेंगे
So I'll say that for ethnic communities, for communities that really care about their generations and they care about family values, they should look at being a bit conservative to what we are doing right now and not go too extreme in society had to, our grandparents, they had a reason why they were successful. They had a good faith and they had a good family values, and that's why we could, ingrain that into our culture. So I believe that it's strong. You need to have faith, family, and look at life and freedom. Religious freedom is also another thing which I didn't speak about, but it's very important to have religious freedom for all religions, and to have our charities, to have our ethos to be maintained. That's why Family First is standing for that. And so look at it. If you're looking at a change, definitely this is a time for a change. And we hope that we will definitely make it to the balance of power.
सुनील जी, आपको समय के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और आपको शुभकामनाएं आपके इस इलेक्शन कैंपेन के लिए। जैसा कि हमने कहा, रेडियो मनपसंद किसी पार्टी को वोट देने के लिए नहीं कहता, हम सबके पार्टीज के व्यूज आपके सामने ला रहे हैं और आप अपना सोच समझकर वोट दीजिए जिस पार्टी के। जैसे सुनील जी ने अपने विचार व्यक्त किए, अगर आप उनसे सहमत हैं तो आप उन्हें वोट कर सकते हैं, या किसी और को, जैसा भी है। हम अपना एक प्लेटफॉर्म हम सबको दे रहे हैं। तो आशा है बस आज का कार्यक्रम आपको पसंद आया होगा, और अगर आप कुछ इस कार्यक्रम के बारे में कहना चाहते हैं तो हमारा जो है जो ईमेल है या अन्य माध्यम से हमें पहुंचा सकते हैं। इसी के साथ आप मुझे किशोर नंगरानी को इजाज़त दीजिए। आपसे फिर मुलाकात होगी। हमारा कार्यक्रम आप सुनते रहिए। रेडियो मनपसंद ऐप पर 24 घंटे 7 दिन चलता रहता है, और साथ ही साथ FM 91.1 पर हम रविवार और मंगलवार को आते हैं। नमस्कार।